stuck? Like, have you ever felt like no matter what you do, no matter what endeavor you try to take on, that you just feel stuck, like you just can't get ahead? What if I told you that you've been subconsciously programmed to be in this poverty mindset, and that once you learn how to break that mindset, the possibilities for your life and for your career are endless. Well, in this video, we're going to talk about not only how we are programmed, but how do we reprogram ourselves to escape the poverty mindset that has kept so many of us stuck in a place that of unfruitfulness, in a place where it feels that no matter what we try to do, the businesses we try to start, the educational programs that we try to get ourselves into, no matter what we do, we just end up feeling stuck. Now, I know that some of you guys may be wondering, what do I mean by a poverty mindset? Well, I want you to think about it like this, right? Our brains are like supercomputers, right? Our brains are the most powerful supercomputers here on Earth. And somebody in this watching this video may say, well, no, there are supercomputers that are way smarter. They can compute things way faster than my human brain can. And that's true. However, they all require the human brain to program them. So in the grand scheme of things, the human brain is the most powerful supercomputer known to man right now. And no matter what, you are being programmed. So if you're a person who's used a cell phone or anything like that, you know that your cell phone has an operating system on it, and that operating system dictates what your computer is able to be programmed to do. Right now, I think that is very funny that with, like, say, the iPhone. You can take an iPhone and you can reprogram an iPhone. You can jailbreak it and open up potential for on your iPhone that the iPhone does not come from the factory with. And what that means is that that device, this the little iPhone, that device, this device right here, this is an older iPhone, but this device, right, it has capabilities that have not been unlocked because the manufacturer that made it intentionally kept certain things from being able to be accessed, to be used, or to be changed. Once you are able to jailbreak your mind, you are able to access potential that you didn't even know that you were capable of. Okay, and it all starts with first identifying what is the program that I am currently running in my operating system in my mind, and how do I reprogram that. So I'm gonna dig into a few things real quick. I'm gonna keep this video brief, or somewhat brief for me, and I want you to think about this, right? If you grew up with a certain mindset when it comes to real estate investing or to money or to wealth, then that is the programming that you've been brought up with, right? So for some of us, we may have been brought up believing that in order for you to get into real estate investing, you got to already have a certain level of money, a certain level of wealth, or maybe you have to know a certain person. Maybe you have to come from a family where your parents were real estate investors in order for you to be successful. That is a programming trap that is embedded in some of our brains. The sooner that we can reprogram that and reframe how we see real estate investing and how we see wealth, the faster that we can accomplish the things that we want to accomplish, right? So, you know, Proverbs 23:7 says, For as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And what this means is that our thoughts and our beliefs are help to shape our reality. The things that we think and the things that we allow our brains to process, those are the things that will dictate how our reality is. If you think that you are a person who is not smart enough to be a real estate investor, who does not have enough connections to be a real estate investor, who does not know how to find funding for real estate deals, who does not know how to analyze a deal, if you believe those things about yourself, then that will become your reality. You will be the person who cannot do those things because that is the reality that you have set up for yourself. And that is a part of your programming. There's a lot of things out there that programs us. We have two different types of programming, right? There's subconscious programming, and then there's conscious programming. Subconscious programming those are the things that are fed to you and you don't know that they're being fed to you, right? The news is a great example of this, right? When you watch the news, Depending on what the stories that they give you, they are programming you, right? You watch certain things and then you end up with this anxiety over a certain issue because the news has programmed you to believe a certain way about a certain group of people, or a certain location. If all you hear is bad news about a certain location, it automatically makes you not want to go to that location. You've been programmed to believe that this place is negative. These people are negative. And we have to be aware of that. TV is the programming mechanism. The reason why they call it television programming is because it is programming you. The misconception is that television programming means that it's programming your TV or it's the program for the channel. No, they are programming you. They are telling you what to think. You get all of these. So how do we identify the sources of our limits and beliefs? Um, Many of the beliefs that we have about money or about success or any of those things, they started when we were children, right? So you came up with these ideas about what success was as a child, whether they're doing quotes around that good job, because what is a good job to you is not a good job to the next person. And because of the beliefs that we were given as children, whether they be from our parents or from our teachers or from our peer group, we took those into our adulthood life and they became a part of our reality. So if you believe that you are a person who can only do a certain job or a certain type of job and you stick with that, that is the programming that you are allowing to operate in your operating system. And a lot of times, we think that education is meant to help us to get to a higher level, but sometimes it's not. The thing that I think is ironic about the educational system is that the educational system is set up to teach you how to be an employee. It does not teach you how to be very many things other than an employee, right? You can go to school to get an MBA, and the MBA does not teach you how to be a business. That's the reason why it's a business administration degree, is because you are learning how to manage someone else's business. Now, there are a select few who will go and get a MBA and then go out and start their own business, but generally speaking, the educational system teaches you how to go and be a good employee. They do not teach you wealth. They do not teach you wealth values. They don't teach you wealth creation. They don't teach us generational wealth management. The education system does not teach you any of those things. They don't teach you how to invest. Unless you go and take some course outside of the general educational system. But there are very few times during your educational career that you're going to be taught things that are going to help you to do anything other than be a business employee. And so even with the educational system is a you how to be a good employee. And if we take a moment to identify limiting beliefs when they come into our mind, to write them down, and then to immediately come up with something to combat that, right? Write down the limiting beliefs that you have. If you feel that you can't become a real estate investor because you don't know how to comp properties, write that down and then start to reframe your mind around that. I will become the person who learns how to find comparable sales for a property. And then start to become the person who either A, learns how to do it themselves or learn how to get around people who are able to do that for you and provide that service for you. Because each one, we get to help each other. And the more that you're able to network with people who can provide the things you're weak at, the stronger you become as a unit and as an individual. Now, Romans 12:2 says, do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, right? And this is a transformation that starts when you begin to question the status quo. When you begin to question and to examine the things that you've already been taught to believe. When you start to say, okay, well, they say that you can only be a real estate investor if you already have money. Well, how many real estate investors can I find who started with no money and have amassed a large net worth, right? And you'll find a lot of them. Robert Kiyosaki, you'll find the Grant Cardones, you'll find the Max Maxwells, you'll find the Cons. You'll find so many people who started off with way less or almost nothing. You'll find people who went dead broke to come back to being multimillionaires and some billionaires, all because they believed in that truth and that statement that we were told as kids that you could be anything that you put your mind to. And you see, we that was a programming that was a good programming, but then somewhere down the road we allowed ourselves to be reprogrammed. Now, I was talking about the phone, right? And one of the things that I think is cool about the phone is that your phone has subconscious programming, right? Some of us have our phone set up so that when we plug it into the power outlet, as long as it's connected to Wi-Fi, it will automatically update the programming. That's what happens us on our day-to-day lives. Everything that you go throughout your day doing, you're automatically being programmed by the things that people say to you, things that people say about you, the things that you read about people who are similar to you, the things that you see about people that are similar to you. And you slowly start to take these things in as a badge of who you are rather than inspecting them and saying, okay, is this true for me? Is this a true statement for me? And even if it is a true statement for me now, does it have to be a true statement for the future version of me that I am currently working on? Right? It says, do not be conformed to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That means that a renewing of the mind has to happen in order for you to be transformed into the person that you want to become, right? You have to renew your mind. You have to be you have to update the programming that is going on in your mind so that you can transform into the person that you want to become. You have to thinking that you're not capable of something. You have to get rid of the I can't statements. You have to get rid of the I won't statements. And you have to start coming up with more I will statements. Instead of saying I can't do this, you say I will find out how to do this. And the more that you start to do that, the less you're going to come up with those I can't statements, the less things that you're going to feel that you aren't capable of doing. And you're going to realize that you're capable of far more than you ever thought possible, right? I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. All things, not some things, not a few things, not limited things, not these things, but not those things, not the things that you love, but not the things that this person loves. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. You can do anything that you set your mind to. Set your mind to the kingdom, and the kingdom will reward you with the blessings that you already want, right? So, what I'm trying to say is it all starts up here. This is the seed. This is the seed to every deed. This is the seed to every endeavor that you will do. Your brain is the seed to everything that you will ever do in your life. If you don't believe that you're capable of doing it, you will not do it because you already planted a bad seed, a seed of doubt. You got to plant more seeds of fruitfulness. You got to plant good seeds to get good crop, to have good rewards. And it all starts with you learning how to control your mindset, right? So, what does it look like to reprogram our minds for success, right? So, I remember when we first started our real estate investing career, and I was working a job. I was making, a really comfortable six figure salary doing government contracting. I was traveling 80% of the year, and things were pretty good. But it was, and I knew that I wanted to get into real estate investment because I had read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Me and Vonnie had gone to a Rich Dad Poor Dad seminar, and we knew that real estate investing was the thing that we wanted to do. However, I felt like I needed to save up more money in order for me to get into real estate investing. And I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off because I had not hit that milestone. And I had to stop and ask myself, how much money can I truly save if I'm not making anything more than what I'm making? Because the money that I make, whether it be good money or not, I was already spending that money to live. I was already spending that money. There was some stuff I could cut out. I could eat out less. I could not buy coffees. I could have stopped smoking my cigars. I enjoyed my cigars and a good bourbon. I could have stopped doing those things. And maybe I would have saved a couple of hundred more dollars, but would it really have been enough money for me to get into a real estate deal? No, it would not have been. I want you to understand this. You can save $1,000 a month for the next 2 years. You have $24,000. Is that enough money for you to get started in real estate investing? Yes, it is. You can get started with $24,000 because you can use that money to leverage a loan to get into real estate investing, right? However, how easy is it truly to save that much money a month? It's hard enough for most Americans to save $100 a month, let alone $1,000 a month. And if all you can save is $100 a month, you're talking about $1,200 at the end of the year. Like, you're not going to get into very many deals with just that. Now, you have to become the person who says, well, how can I go out and source the money that I need? How can I go out and bring my ideals in front of a group of people who can then provide me with the funding? That's something that Vonnie and I have learned how to do over the course of the last couple of years. Look, we just raised $50,000 for a real estate deal, uh, mostly from complete strangers, right? But if we were still the people who had limiting beliefs, limited mindset on what we were capable of doing, we would have not only been able to raise that money, we wouldn't have even got the deal on a contract because we would have already came up with a whole list of reasons why we were not capable of doing it, right? But the more that we started to stop doubting ourselves, the better that we got at being able to identify the blessings that were already in front of us. And it was real refreshing when you figure that part out, right? So the first step for you to reprogram your mind is awareness. If you aren't aware of the programming that is already being ran in your operating system in your brain, then you can't reprogram it, right? When you go to update your phone, the first thing that it tells you is this is the program you're already running. You're already running iOS 15, right? And then it'll say there's a new update. iOS 15.5 is out. Do you want to download it? And the next thing that it's gonna do is gonna determine whether or not you have enough free space on your hardware, on your device to download this new program, right? I currently have an update that is available for my iPhone, and I have not downloaded it because I am stuck without enough space, right? I don't have enough space to download this new one. I need like 8 gigs, I think, of free space, and I got like 1.5 gigs of space, right? And when I start looking through my phone to figure out, okay, what can I delete? What can I delete so that I can download this new update? Well, I want to delete. I could delete something and then re-download it after I get the. I haven't done that yet. But it's the same way for us with the operating system of our brain, right? There are things that we are attached to. There are beliefs that we are holding on to that we need to delete in order for us to download the new belief system that is going to help us to propel ourselves forward. But because we are so stuck on those old, bad for us belief systems, we can't get enough free space to download the new update so that we can propel ourselves forward. Sometimes you got to take a hard, long look at the things that you already believe in, and you got to scratch some stuff out. 2008 has created a whole generation of people who are against home ownership because there were kids who watched their parents struggle through the housing crisis of 2008 that determined that they will never buy a property because I watched my father and my mother go through all of this turmoil. We had to move out of our house into the things were horrible for us for a couple of years. And because of that belief system, because of that negative event that happened to someone else, they've formed a mindset around home ownership that is negative, right? There's a whole group of people out there who have this exact mind because of that. So the stock market crash, you see someone that you love lose money, and then the first thing that you say is, "Oh, don't put your." You see people make money in crypto and all these other things all the time, right? Estate investing is the same way. There are so many negative things out there that people say about real estate investing. Justification, you're kicking people out of their homes. Some of that stuff is true. You can lose all of your money. Oh, tenants are going to tear your house up. Do Section 8 because they don't care about your house. All of those things may be true and may have been true for somebody, but they are not definite truths. And because of that, you cannot allow those to be the belief system that you hold on to because there's always an opportunity out there for you to be the paradigm shift, for you to change the pendulum swing and to make those things profitable and to make those statements untrue, right? Philippians 4:8 says, it encourages us to focus on the things that are true, noble, right, pure, loving, and admirable. Okay. The more that you focus on the positive outcomes that you want in an endeavor, the less time you have to focus on the negative outcomes. If all you ever do is focus on the negative things that can come from real estate investing, the negative thing that can come from maybe leaving a 9 to 5 to pursue another dream of yours, the more you're going to only see negative outcomes. Because if I focus on is my attention, If I focus on the things that are good, that are noble, that are mighty, things that are just, that are true, that are righteous, if I focus on those things, then I am gonna see those things in my life, right? And that is the second thing that you got to do after you have become aware of the negative limiting beliefs that you have, the negative programming that you have already installed in your belief system. Then you have to actively become a person who switches the way that you think about things, that you switch the things that you focus on so that your attention can flow in the direction of prosperity rather than the direction of poverty, right? And how do you do that? One of the things that you need to do is to write down anytime that you have a negative belief, write it down so that you can measure that up against the scripture. But then secondly, I encourage you guys to write down positive affirmations for yourself. Okay, if you come to my house, if you walk through my house, you'll see I have sticky notes all over the place. I got sticky notes on the back of my bedroom door. I got sticky notes in the hallway going down the hallway to my, I got sticky notes in my bathroom. I got sticky notes all over the place. These sticky notes are just for me. When I wake up in the morning, out my bedroom door, the first thing I see is sticky notes telling me that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I have Bible verses. I have sayings about real estate investing. I have them all over my house, right? In certain environments, like for me in the Marine Corps, we would have safety posters posted all over the shop. We would have all these little motivational quotes posted all over the shop because they was to serve of what is true versus our mind will automatically start to sometimes not true, it's sometimes false. So if you want to change programming, you gotta forcefully put new programming in. That's that conscious programming. You have to be conscious of the programming that you are allowing into your operating system. And the best way to do that is through affirmations and through constant reminders of the things that are true, noble, just, righteous. Okay, and and the more that you do that, you'll be surprised at how fast things start to turn for you. Secondly, don't be afraid to be a person who seeks education. Okay, seek education in the fields that you want to get better at. Read books. Rich Dad Poor Dad is a good book to start with. If you already read that one, read. There's another book, how to win friends and influence people. That is a really good book. There's a book called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. He was an FBI negotiator, and he talks about negotiation skills, right? These are things you can use for yourself too. There's another book called Winning the War in Your Mind. It is a great book. If you get a chance to go and check that book out, Winning the War in Your Mind. Some of us need to win the war in our mind so that we can win the war in reality, so we can go out here in the world and win the war. Because if you don't win here, you'll never get on the battlefield of life. Okay, you'll just be a cog in somebody else's. You don't want to be a pawn in somebody else's chess game. You don't want to be the solely the person that helps someone else's dream come to fruition while your dream suffers and withers away and dies. Okay, if there are things in your life that you know that you want to improve on, I am saying this one more time before I get off. You need to take a long, hard look at the programming of your mind and figure out, how do I reprogram the things that I am thinking about myself, whether it be the things that my teacher told me, they said I never amount to anything. Guess what? They don't. Who are they? What do they know? Are they the end all be all knower of people? Probably not. Okay? Don't take advice from people who don't know what they're talking about, especially when they're giving you negative advice. If a person tells you, "Oh, you'll never be able to do that," how do they know? Have they done it? Are they the expert on it? Do they know all the ways that a person can start a business and run a business and be successful? If they don't, then they can't tell you that you can't do it. The only thing that you have to focus on is only surrounding yourself with people, or only sharing your vision with people who can help you to propel yourself forward. I pray that this is something that we do for you on a day-to-day basis here on this channel. But if there are people in your life who are not being positive, uh, are not pouring positivity into your endeavors, switch it up, reprogram yourself, mind, and let's 2024 the best year that you've had so far in your life. Okay, every year can be increasingly better than the year before. It's all a matter of switching up the program that is already operating in your operating system. All right, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. Make sure you like, share, and follow this video. Subscribe so that you can get an update when I come back, because I still got more to talk about on this topic. And I had to make another video. I got to get inside church right now. But I love you guys. Peace. And remember, reprogram your mind so that you can get to where you want to be in life. All right. Peace.